And we're live here in Marquette, Michigan. It's the Revved Up 906 podcast, a Detroit Pistons podcast to be exact. And I'm Hudson.
And I'm Ryan.
And, well, Ryan, you know, like the last couple podcasts, we started off with several losses to talk about. But there's a little bit of a shining light in our loss this week to the Los Angeles Lakers, and it was Bojan's 25 points in the third quarter. It didn't matter how good you guarded the man. He was putting down buckets.
A walking bucket.
He is, yeah. And if you follow us on Instagram, and if you don't, go follow us on Instagram, Revved Up 906. I talked about Bojan greater than Anthony Davis. What are your first take on that?
It's a little bold to say that Bojan is better than Anthony Davis career-wise.
Yeah.
But you could argue this season alone, maybe he's better than Anthony Davis, but Davis does have the numbers.
Yeah, of course, right?
But he's still also on a bad team, so it's a bad team comparison, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's just for our team specifically, honestly, why not just take Bojan? I'll take Bojan over Davis. It's a hot take, but I mean, we're going to lose either way.
Hey, Davis gets injured a lot. Bojan doesn't.
No, that's the other thing about him is he stays healthy. Mm-hmm. So we are in episode 6, and we're around the 30-game mark tonight. We have our 29th game of the season. So we just wanted to take some time to evaluate Jaden Ivey'S first 30-ish games and what our kind of thoughts are on his season totals amongst other rookies.
Yeah, so in 25 games, Jaden Ivey is averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 40%, 30% from 3, and 72% from the free throw line.
Yeah. The reason why, we kind of brought this up and I kind of wanted to talk about it on the pod was recently the 2022 redraft blog posts have been coming out. So we're seeing a lot of ESPN, a lot of this, like the regular website blogs are talking about what would a redraft look like of this year's draft. It's a little early in my opinion, and I feel like Ivey's gotten pretty disrespected amongst other rookies, and I'm not real happy about it. But TheRinger.com, written by Kevin O'Connor, this specific blog, which I've seen some of his stuff on Instagram, so I know he's pretty legit, has the Pistons taking Shaedon Sharpe at number 5 and Ivey falling to number 8 to the New Orleans Pelicans. And I think the Pelicans would be pretty happy with this pick at number 8, but as a Pistons fan, I know on draft night, if Ivey was available at number 5, I would have been furious if we didn't take him. I like that pick.
Yeah, see, Shaedon Sharpe having a great rookie season, but if Jaden is available there's no way you pass up on him. And he's been everything we've wanted and more so far. Yeah, his stats aren't like he's dropping 20 every night or anything like that, but he's still 15, 15, 15 every single night.
Yeah.
And he's very consistent in that, and I appreciate that out of him.
Absolutely.
Because we've had rookies in the past where it's like they have a huge game there, but then it's like they're dry for like 5 games in a row, and then it's all of a sudden, boom, they blow up again.
Mm-hmm. And he's not necessarily like that even. No. He'll have a game where his percentage goes down, but he's still getting to, for sure, 12 points. Mm-hmm. He's still getting in that realm. And as a rookie, I mean, consistency is tough. This is the first time you're playing back-to-back games like this. In college, you're playing maybe twice a week, maybe once a week even. It's just such a different schedule.
And then on top of that, you look at what the Pistons have player-wise compared to what Jaden Ivey played with in college.
Yeah.
It's completely different. You're playing with some of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
So you have to think about, you have to spread the ball, really. Mm-hmm. You have to share it. Whereas in college, you can go off and be a one-man show. It doesn't work all the time, but you can do that.
Yeah.
But in the NBA, everybody has to do something in order to win.
So I guess one of my biggest takeaways when looking at Ivey compared to guys like Mathurin, who's kind of taken off, Sharpe, who's making a name for himself in Portland, the only thing that you can put Ivey, like you can kind of put his back against the wall, is he does average nearly 3 turnovers a game. 12 out of the 30 games he has played, he has at least 4 turnovers or more. I don't love that, but he tries to do too much with the ball, which leads to those arid passes. We see him try to drive and throw it out to Bojan, and it's flying out of bounds. And I think that naturally happens when a guy like Cade is out, because he's a ball dominant point guard that is he deals with turnovers himself. Okay. But Ivey's best when the ball's out of his hand. Yep. He's in that, like, not necessarily pick and roll, but he's cutting at all times. You get him on the fast break, and that's what Cade's best at. I was kind of hoping him and Killian would gel a little bit more. Killian doesn't really seem to help the guy out much. He doesn't really seem to set him up.
But it could be in part to they really haven't played consistently on the same, like they haven't played together at the same time.
Yeah, and they're still new.
Like Killian rolling with the second team with Cade in. Mm-hmm. So there's a difference there. The chemistry isn't there. But now they're having to adjust to learn how to play together because they're playing the same minutes, they're playing in the same rotations. Yeah. So they have to get used to each other more. And so it's more of like them having to get used to each other right now, and that's why there's not really a chemistry. Mm-hmm. But I think once we hit another like 15 games or so, you're going to see like, oh, they work well together.
Yeah. Once they, and I think when Killian first took over for Cade, I think Ivey was also out for like a 4-game span there. So like even those first games that Killian was kind of taking the helm of the offense, Ivey was out.
Yeah. So you look at the stats wise, rookie class wise for this year. Points, Paulo, number 1 with 21.8. Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Yeah. Benedict Matrin with 18.
Okay.
And then Ivey at 3 with 15.
Yeah.
And then following out the last 4 and 5 is Jabari Smith and Keegan Murray.
Okay.
So both picked ahead of Jaden, and Jaden's scoring more than them. That's good.
That's why that's kind of debunks an article like that from The Ringer, where it's like, why do you still have those guys going ahead of him and he's beating them out on points? It's like,
and then you go down to rebounds. Jaden Ivey is number 6.
As a point guard. Yeah. Wow.
Jalen Duren, our guy, number 1 with 8 boards. Jabari Smith, 2 with 7. Paulo at 3 with 7. Mm-hmm. Walker Kessler, one of my favorite players to watch for the Utah Jazz, with 6. Tari Eason with 5. And then Jaden Ivey with like 4.5.
Yeah. And I think his rebounding is only going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
For sure.
He kind of reminds me of a Russell Westbrook.
Dude, thinking the same thing. Mm-hmm. When you said he was at number 6, I was like, ooh, that kind of reminds me of Russell Westbrook, because he was Westbrook a great rebounder. Boards. Oh, dude, especially his last couple of years at OKC.
And then you go down to assists. Andrew Nembhard is number 1 with basically 5, not really. Mm-hmm. Jaden Ivey, 2 with 4. Paulo at 3 with around 4. Jalen Williams, no offense, I have no idea who you are.
Pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure he plays on
OKC.
Yeah. OKC. He has like 3.
He's got swag off the court. I follow him on Instagram.
Dyson Daniels, I like him a lot.
Yeah, he plays well.
He has like 3. But Jaden Ivey is literally in every single category. Mm-hmm. And that's not bad. Steals, Jaden Ivey is 3rd with like 2. Mm-hmm. He is actually in the blocks category. Mm-hmm. Not as high as you're hoping, but he's a guard.
Yeah.
So at 11, I'll take 11. Mm-hmm. Turnovers, though, ranked 2nd among rookies. Number 1 is Paulo, which we're not surprised.
No.
Efficiency rating, Jaden Ivey is actually 3rd, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'll take that. Minutes-wise, he's 2nd. And, he's pretty darn good compared to the rookie class.
That's why, like, when I first saw on Instagram these polls coming out of the redraft, I'm like, what's going on? Like, I understand the turnover thing, but that's what Cade dealt with in his rookie year. That's what a lot of rookies deal with. That's not anything abnormal to me. And I don't think that's worth going back 3 picks.
Yeah, and I think a big reason why all these analysts are going like, oh, he should have gotten lower or anything like that is you look at the roster shape up of every other team compared to us. Mm-hmm. Houston, Orlando. They're not. They don't have a lot of star power.
No.
But then you look at our roster, which we're not like, whoa, watch out. But we still have Cade, Sadiq,
dude, absolutely.
Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren. Like, we have, in my opinion, a loaded young roster.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can't hate on Ivey for not stocking the box score every night when you have those pieces around him.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like he has any savvy vets around him that are like hooking him up with nice shots and getting him the ball. Like, this is pretty much, I mean, Killian's really the only guy that's been dishing it out this year at a high level. Other than that, like, this is Ivey getting his scraps, getting his, going to work and getting his. So it's not like these are easy buckets he's getting. No. Also, the reason why you make a good argument why we have such a good young core is because we have been able to keep up with teams like the Suns. Yeah. We haven't been able to pull off the games. Even like the Nuggets, we gave the Nuggets a run for their money. Jokic was losing his mind against the Pistons. So I mean, that's why it's like people can make an argument for Houston because of Jalen Green and certain players and pieces they have, but I still think the Pistons have the notch in that, even over OKC.
Yeah, and you go off of the other night against the Lakers there. Yeah, the Lakers suck right now. They are one of the worst teams in NBA history in terms of efficiency, but they still have considered to be the best player of all time in LeBron. And one of the better players of all time, I don't think he's that high, but Anthony Davis. So the fact that we kept and hung in that entire game.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah, and they got chemistry on that team. That team, they've been playing with each other for a couple of years now.
Yeah, and we even kept it in there without Cade.
Yeah.
So let's say we add in Cade and we get the experience we want, and let's say we draft good this upcoming offseason. I don't know. I think you would have to say the Pistons are one of the best young teams, if not the best right now.
Yeah. I think there's a good argument with it, especially if Cade's playing.
And so I actually compared Jaden Ivey's stats to notable other players at his position.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So
their rookie years?
They're rookie years.
Okay.
I did a wide variety just because I'm curious. I did do him and Cade stat-wise. They're not very close.
Yeah, Cade had a great rookie year.
My big one where everybody hasn't compared him to is Dwayne Wade.
Okay, I like that comparison, though.
Dwayne Wade doesn't have the I'm going to jump out of the gym.
Oh, dude, he kind of had underrated hops back in the day.
Not compared to Jaden Ivey.
That's true. When you see Jaden Ivey against the Lakers just like jump out of the gym to swat the ball away from, I can't remember his name, but dude, he gets up.
So stats-wise, Dwayne Wade played 61 games his rookie year.
Okay.
16.2 points, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shot 46, pretty much 47%, 30% from 3, and 74% from the free throw line.
Okay.
Compare that with Ivey so far, 15.3 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 40%, and 30% from 3, and then 72% from the free throw line. Yeah. Those are literally identical.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Dwayne Wade's first year with the Heat, they were terrible. Yeah. And they were kind of had a solid young core.
Dwayne didn't really play. And another guy, so people compare John Morant and Jaden Ivey to each other a lot.
Of course, yeah. Good friends.
Stats-wise, though, I'd say John Morant is actually closer to Cade. Stats-wise, rookie year.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So John Morant played 67 games, had 18 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 47%, 33% from 3, and 77% from the free throw line. That's much closer to Cade than it is Ivey.
Yeah. And I think John Morant was Rookie of the Year, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Just another reason why Cade should have had Rookie of the Year last year. Just saying.
The best rookie.
Dude, it bothers the crap out of me that Scotty Barnes. Yes. What a bum.
Okay, Scotty Barnes literally was on a good team. You can't award a rookie who has better numbers just because he's on a good team.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Dude.
The MVP award, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Rookie
right.
of the year, you can't.
Dude, it bothers the crap out of me. One thing I wanted to mention with Ivey, I like Casey. I know people sometimes think I beat him up, but I just wish he gave Ivey a purpose when on the court. You know, we were talking before the pod, or no, actually just earlier, that a lot of Ivey's points are kind of just garbage points that he gets his and ones that he develops, that he goes and gets himself. I wish he just always seems to get Killian and Bojan's leftovers when it comes to plays and who the Pistons are targeting for a specific quarter. He's a guy that if you drop plays for him, he can go and get a bucket with Killian's passing ability, should, you know, be able to cater well to Ivey's game. But I just don't think anything's ever drawn up for him. I don't think he gets any of the loving.
I see it maybe as Weaver and Casey know what they will get out of him, whereas Killian, you're trying to develop him more and see, can he handle being the guy?
Yeah.
And Killian has handled it so far. And then Bojan, he's more of new to the team, new to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just trying to see how well he molds with the team and building chemistry and just developing the team as a whole, rather where you know what you're going to get out of Ivey every night. Yeah,
and granted, he is a shot creator. He is so good at getting buckets. But I just wish we saw Casey kind of vouch for him and give him some plays every once in a while, because just imagine if there's a couple plays that are drawn up for him and he gets a couple buckets, then he's on a roll, and then he can go and get his own bucket when people are trying to double team him. And because the dude, it doesn't matter if you double team him, to be honest. He's going to split you and he's going to get that layup. I really like Ivey's game. I loved him when he was at Purdue, and it stinks that he got slandered the way he did in a couple blogs.
Yep. Yeah, I think Ivey will be just fine. And going back to the comparisons, I even did Isaiah Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Thomas is so much closer to Cade than he is to Ivey.
Yeah.
And then Joe Dumars, even, I didn't realize how bad Joe Dumars' rookie year was.
Yeah, he wasn't anything too special in the beginning years.
Just 9 points and not even a rebound.
Yeah. Was there any specific players that were real similar other than Dwayne Wade to Ivey?
Actually, Kyrie Irving.
Okay, his rookie year?
Yeah.
Dang, that's actually kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear the lowdown.
Points wise, he's closer to Cade, but other stat wise, it's pretty similar. So Kyrie played 51 games his rookie year, around 18.5 points a game, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 46%, 39% from 3, and 87% from the free throw line.
Yeah, wow. That's really exciting. I was always a big fan of Kyrie before, he kind of started going downhill. But his game is actually, now that I think about it, kind of similar to Ivey.
They're both explosive.
Yeah, for sure. Kyrie wasn't a huge dunker by any means, but when it comes to going and getting buckets, that's Kyrie's game, and I think Ivey will develop into very similar play. So as far as we're looking at trying to evaluate his rookie year, try to encapsulate. So if you had to give Ivey a grade for his first 30 games, what grade are you looking at?
I feel like an A+ is just too high.
Yeah, it's a little nice.
A C is too low.
Yeah, I agree.
B is also too low. I would say
got to meet in the middle, man.
An A-.
Okay, I like that one. It's hard for me to say. He hasn't made a big splash. He hasn't got the amount of attention like Mathurin, like we were saying, or Paolo. Paolo's having a great year. But if I give it time, I'd have to go with probably a B+. Because I want him by the end of the year. I think we should come back at the end of the season and do evaluating his rookie year and kind of encapsulate and talk about what we talked about today. And if he grew, when we talk at the end of the season, I really want him to be at an A.
Yeah.
A-. I want him. I don't know if he'll be rookie of the year. I really want him to be, obviously, but I want him to be at that A. I want to see him get better than where he is now. So I'm going to give him a B+, so he has time to grow. But I am happy with the way he's been playing. I think as a Pistons fan in the Pistons community, I think we shouldn't be too worrisome about him. I think he's going to be just fine. He's got that superstar mentality, and he makes those superstar plays.
And then he also wants to be in Detroit his whole career.
And that's the other thing, we have to kind of mention is how he supports the Pistons in Detroit and Michigan so well, as far as, you know, his grandfather playing for the Lions and his mom playing for Mercy. You know, I think that's a guy that we should rally behind, because he kind of embodies the state and the city, and I can really appreciate that.
Yeah. He's just one of those guys that I think fits the mold of what we define as a Pistons player.
Yeah.
And even though you would go, oh, I'd rather have Paolo, or I'd rather have Jabari Smith or Chet Holmgren or anybody like that, I think Jaden is the perfect fit for us.
Yeah. Chet
is overrated. Jabari Smith
Big
is
time.
Overrated. Paolo is overrated.
I like Paolo. He's got a good game.
But he's overrated.
We'll see. I'm excited to see what kind of career he has.
I think he'll be the kind of guy where it's like Tobias Harris.
Yeah, you were saying that the other day. I don't hate that comparison. I do like that. I think he's kind of a Rudy Gay-like too, where he's a little bit thicker, a little bit taller, and good rebounder, and then just goes and get buckets like a Tobias Harris. Solid defender.
I see him just being his ceiling of like an all-star.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a good player on any team he goes on. Chet's gonna just get injured and walk out of the league.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, Cat. We'll have to do another episode too at the end of the season.
Literally got injured guarding LeBron
during a rec league game, man.
he literally just fell down.
Yeah, I know.
All of a sudden, he's done for the whole year.
Yep. I guess we can't say much with Cade.
Yeah.
I think we have to mention it, Ryan. Do you want to break the news?
Yeah. Cade is undergoing surgery and will be out for the rest of this season.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see guys like Casey and Weaver support him. But if you watched the last episode, if you didn't, go watch it. But if you watched it, you'll know that we watch it back, Cade, and it feels bad, but it is what it is.
The kid on the Jumbotron wants you back.
God, that was hilarious, right? I love it. Well, I think that's going to do it for episode number 6, evaluating Jaden Ivey's first 30 games. If you don't follow us on Instagram, go follow us at Revved Up 906. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe.
Yeah.
I mean, we're big time.
Oh, yeah. All day.
Sorry, I stole it that time. I tried to lay it up to you, and I messed up.
I think it just works universally.
Okay. We both can use it?
Yep.
Yes, I got the pass. I love it. Thank you, man. So that'll do it for the Revved Up podcast this week. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.